Okay, so we're live from my other Facebook page, and let's give Keya a moment to join us there. Come on, Keya, where you at? Keya is here. It is about to go down. Hey, Kayla, how you doing? So,
Hi.
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 I hear you.
I hear you.
Oh,
You
hold on
can
one.
everybody hear me?
Hold
You
on.
have any feedback?
1 second.
1 second.
Got to
Got to get,
got to get.
got to get.
What's
What's
that
that
in
in
the
the
background?
background?
You don't hear
You
anything?
don't hear anything?
Yeah, we're gonna need
Yeah, we're gonna need
headphones for
head.
both.
This ain't gonna work because I'm gonna need
Let me tell y'all something.
How's that?
Trying to teach and use this technology is only good when it works. So, Derek, you're just getting ready for Game of Thrones. I'm happy to hear that. Okay, now I finally have my guest, Miss Keya Neal. I am going to allow her to introduce herself. But guys, head on over to Facebook. We're a bit more interactive there on Facebook. Head on over to Facebook at Monae Artistry and check out the live. Okay, Keya, tell us about yourself.
Hi, everybody. How are you? So awesome to be here with you. Sorry about all the mess that we had going on, but now we are here and I'm super excited. My name is Keya Neal. I am the visionary and founder of The Color Culture, and I'm also the visionary and founder of its sister or its baby, Texture versus Race. And listen, I have been a stylist for, many years now, but I tell you what, I've never seen so much shift in the industry until lately. And there is so much for you and I to talk about. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get into it because we are on the same wavelength, lady. And I'm super proud to be on this platform with you today.
Well, thank you so much,
Let me make
Keya.
sure I share it.
Yes, so the first thing I
Yes.
need you guys to do is start sharing and offer watch parties
Mm-hmm.
because we're about to get in some real information. I didn't even get a chance to introduce myself since we switched. I am Monae Everett. I am a celebrity and editorial hairstylist. I work with a lot of your favorite entertainers. I've been doing this for almost 18 years. And when I moved to New York 7 years ago, I learned about the segregation in the industry that I really didn't even know existed when I lived in the DMV area. I'm learning and I'm growing higher and higher in the industry, and I realize so many of us don't have the knowledge, education, opportunity, know-how to make it in this industry. So I always operate with an open hand policy. Everybody has their hand open. They want somebody to put something in their hand, but you got to be willing to give something out of your hand too. So Keya and I are really coming at this challenge from two different sides of the coin. I am coming from an on-set stylist, stylists that work with brands, stylists that work with celebrity stylists that do editorials, and it's the same issues. Keya, would you like to talk about where you're coming from?
Well, I'm coming from the stylist perspective in the salons where I see a lot of segregation in the salons itself, dealing with just either us I don't want to say pollinating, but cross pollinating with education, cross pollinating on just being able to be multicultural in the salon itself, and even just the stylists working together themselves
Yes.
in the salons. Like there's a lot of segregation starting right at the core with the salons being a black salon, a white salon. And I
Yeah.
always say that, the church and the salon are the only two institutions left, that are segregated, uncontested. And we let it ride because we're kind of okay with that. And it's just time out for that because it's showing up in deeper, better places now. Where it's really starting to be more evident. And so we have to do something to start to blur those lines that divide us. And so what I am proposing, working with people like yourself and other major artists that have had that same message, that have felt this,
Yeah.
this climate and have felt the effects of this segregation for so long. I'm trying to unite us all to have one huge voice so
Absolutely.
that we can start to create allyship with everyone, not just black people, but
Yeah.
everybody come together and speak on, what this has done to our industry and start to reshape and change the narrative around that and move forward.
Absolutely. So I see we have some people joining in. Please make sure to give us hearts and likes because that'll tell Facebook and Instagram that we're talking about something worth
Something
listening
good.
to. Please host a watch party. Keya and I are going to drop some knowledge about getting into the industry, expanding in the industry, educating yourself to go to higher levels. Hey, cuz, get that watch party going for me, Jackie. So, we were really fortunate that just recently there was a big kerfuffle on Twitter where, oh my, the lady's name just jumped out of my head, but she's like,
Viola Davis.
well, even
No? Oh.
one before that, the comedian
Uh,
from Insecure. She,
it's Issa Rae.
so
Was it
no,
Issa?
no, her comedian, it's the heavy set comedian with her put up a post and what she said was productions, if you have a person of color within your cast, and we thank you for that, can you at least somewhat have someone that can style her hair and do her makeup? And that caught like wildfire. Gabrielle Union retweeted it. Naomi Anderson, who is a huge Victoria's Secret supermodel, I worked with her early in her career. She's been fighting for this for a while. Then we have, to your point, Viola Davis releasing a statement that last week saying, I refuse to work with hairstylists that can't do my hair anymore. And a lot of people outside of the industry felt like, well, of course you wouldn't work it. Why is this newsworthy? Because a lot of people who don't have the skill get the opportunity, whereas we have other people who may have the skill, but they don't have the opportunity to get on the set and etiquette a lot of times, but especially not the opportunity. So I want Keya to speak a little bit about her endeavors because we have some good stuff coming up, you and I together, and your stuff, and then I'll tell y'all about mine.
Yes. So the first thing that we do, Keston, real quick, texture versus race was born out of, like I said, a need and a necessity to be able to bring people together and just kind of have the hard conversations. So I have a group. Well, let me back up. Back to when it all really started was when I was asked to do some texture education. And it was like, what? You know, at the ABCH, the American Board of Certified Hair Colorists.
Hold on,
And
pause,
I realized.
pause. ABCH, American Board Certified Hair Colorist, is the highest certification anyone can have in hair color. Keya and I share that in common. I'm pointing that out because there are so many different people who want to see different things in the industry. When I talk to a lot of black stylists, that they don't even know that exists. So that was a point you were just given. I'm sorry, Keya.
Yes, no, absolutely, and feel free. And so once I did it, I realized because that organization is majority Caucasian, you know, and there are very few people of color that obtain that certification or even attend their conferences. And you know, they had expressed to me just because I don't know why it was me at that time, just being in the right place, right time with the right message. You know, they said, you know, we really want to start to diversify and be more inclusive of everyone, and we want to be the front runners of that. And so they gave me the opportunity to do texture education. But I realized that in, you know, embarking on that there was just simply more to it than that. You know, it wasn't about just teaching them how to do, you know, black hair, so to speak. It was more of a social aspect that it needed to be dwelled into much deeper than just doing hair. And it became such a huge event. It was great. When we did it, that we ended up doing a summit that they heavily supported and they sponsored, and we were able to get a huge multicultural response to that, and it was great. And we have a movement going. We have a group where we have a lot of hard conversations like the one you were just talking about. There's been a lot of back and forth about, you know, our cultures learning to try to understand each other. And that's one of the core things that we try to do, which is bring that type of understanding. And so because that has now become it's a phenom, because of course we know texture hair is trending. But getting past trend, let's get to the knit and the grit, which is how do we interact with each other? How do we turn this from being just a trend to being a lifestyle that we all understand has to exist in right now? It has to reconfigure, and we all have to be a part. And so I was offered to do the IBS, which is the International Beauty Show in Las Vegas, the opportunity to actually bring the texture versus race, the hands-on portion to that IBS Vegas, which is coming up the third week in June. And I asked, of course, my lovely host, Miss Monae Everett, to come and bring her expertise on it, because I wanted everyone to be able to have different aspects of what it is that we're talking about from a different
Absolutely.
perspective. So I'm coming from the stylist, the salon, the educator. You're coming from set. We have someone coming from, the influencer side. We have someone coming from the color side. We have the styling. We have all of these different points of views and like I said, aspects, speaking on the same thing so that everyone can be represented. We even have a good, I always call her this is my good white girl that I carry with me all
Yes,
the
for the
time,
good
because
white girl.
she understands what's going on. She's clear about what her job is in this whole scenario and how she plays a part to help the movement push forward. And I appreciate her for that, because she's a great asset to me, and she's a great asset to the movement. And of course, Monae, you're going to knock it out. And all of these things that we're talking about, they're so important to get past, people being, sensitive and,
Yeah.
not understanding that just because we talk about race, we're not necessarily talking about racism. And we're
Yes.
not being racist in talking about race. And so my job is to help facilitate that and to keep everything clean and focused so that we're focusing on what it is we're trying to do. So I'm
Yes.
excited about IBS. I'm excited about the whole hands-on. Can't wait to talk about exactly how that's going to roll. But I'm excited about it. I'm excited about us starting this conversation and having it with
Absolutely.
each other.
And to further go into your point about how it's not about race, I subscribe to the belief there's only four hair textures: straight hair, wavy hair, curly hair, and coily hair. You would be surprised. People don't even think about, when they think about straight hair, Asian hair, that's very, very difficult to curl. That is a texture that you need to be more familiar with. Or when you go into black salons, I've met stylists that are like, I'm only dealing with relaxed hair. They're unable to deal with natural, unrelaxed hair. You have stylists that are like, I only do relaxed hair. I mean, coily hair. I can't do a loose curl
Mm-hmm.
or a wave,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So the reason texture versus race is so important is because you can find every texture within every single race. It does not matter what it is. But I believe that in order to call yourself a hairstylist, you should be able to style every texture. And I run across so many people that are not. I want you guys to think a little deeper. Think about that time you were watching TV and the sister came on and her hair was a mess, or her face was a different color from her body. The people behind the scenes got a full day's paycheck. It did not matter how she looked. No one could call it out because no one really understood how to make that black beauty shine. They're like, I don't know. I hired Brenda. Brenda always shows up. Brenda didn't do a good job, but oh well, it's a black girl. That's not okay. It's not okay to see that in AdWorks. How many times last year and the year before last did we see was the perception that the black model looked less than the white model, or the Asian model, or the Latina model? It truly is a lack of people able to style it. So where I come in is I teach people how to get on set. I teach them how to promote themselves. I teach them how to properly market themselves. Keya is teaching you amazing things for in the salon, which can be applied to on set. I'm
Right?
teaching you amazing things for on set, which can be applied to being in the salon. You'll always get better you'll always get further with photo ready work. Okay, if your photos tell a story.
Absolutely. One thing I wanted to add about texture versus race is that, we subscribe to the fact that texture, hair is a texture and not a race. And to your point that you realize that you say that, there's only four textures and that you can find those textures on any race, but you would be surprised. And I guess I'm kind of repeating what you said, but just bringing it up again, that this is not a default on just black people or white
Yeah.
people. Us in general in the industry, there's a huge default in education at the school that
Yes.
does not lend itself to texture, period,
Yes.
regardless of the fact that we're now finding in this movement that over 70% of the population, and we talked about that, is textured hair, has some
Yes.
type of wave or curl pattern. But because the standard of beauty and the average client that we've been taught and we focus on is straighter hair, Caucasian, chemical free, the information has just simply not been there. So everyone is aloof when it comes to textured
Yeah.
hair. There's very few people that can say, well, I've known about it all this time. And that's probably someone who's only subscribed to natural hair
Yeah.
very early on and had to learn something else. They were the only ones that had the benefit.
Yes.
Everybody else, we're all learning at the same time. So at Texture
Absolutely.
versus Race, I still teach more black people how to work with the very texture they have on their head
Yes.
differently than what they're accustomed to. So I don't want it to look like we're just teaching white people how to do black hair. No, we're
Because that's not the
teaching the
case.
industry how to embrace curl texture and remove race from the table when you're
Yes.
trying to decide what to do and how to handle that fabric. And that's a huge point that people I don't think really have grown to understand, but they are now having the hard conversations like
Yes.
this that allow us to debunk all of the stereotypes and the misunderstandings and bad information that we have about each other's culture, the hair, where it lives, how, and it's unfortunate, but I feel like everybody kind of needs to go back to school a little bit and we need to have like and basically that's what this is.
Yeah. It's
It's
education.
cosmetology 101.
Yeah.
Again, it's starting over, but adding texture to the table versus just an exception or an excerpt, one chapter to try to summarize everything for textured hair. We're now saying, no, let's go back to the
Yeah.
beginning and add texture all along.
Textured hair is super important. I feel like I had something I was gonna say, but I forgot it. I was all into what you said. Oh, okay.
It's
So
coming
I
back.
remember, yes, I remember going to work for a brand, going to a 4-day education course, and getting the entire wrath of the licensed professionals who assumed that I was not licensed because I have a YouTube channel. I am a licensed professional in multiple states, and I understand that it is a touchy subject. We work very hard for our licensure, and people get really angry that clients are going to YouTube. But if you're not talking to them at all, they're going to go somewhere to get the education. If we're the professionals, we know more, we know better, we need to take control of that conversation. There needs to be more professionals on YouTube, or we at bare minimum need to learn the language of YouTube so that our clients can talk to us. Nobody's going to want to talk to a professional if they say, I need a dusting on my hand, or this, and the professional's like, there's no such thing as a dusting. You need a haircut. Man, you know good and darn well they were talking about,
A trim.
a light trim. Like, it's
They're
not
trying to
rocket
manage you.
science.
When they say dusting, that's them trying to manage us. That's
Yeah.
their way of saying, don't cut all my hair, girl. Don't cut
Yeah.
too much, and don't be scissor happy. And like you said, we got to learn
Yeah.
to have the same language, speak the same language for
We
our
have to.
clients.
And think about it
I've been
this way:
saying
if
that for
they have
years.
been dealing with stylists who don't want to style their natural hair, and now they've gone to YouTube, they're coming back to give you the chance, and they're trying to properly communicate the best way they know possible. We went to school, we studied the proper terms, the placements, how to give them what. They literally did not do that. They don't know what we're looking to say. And I am a huge believer of getting clients back in the salon. The reason I'm not, multi-million followers on YouTube is because I'm doing a lot of, here's an idea of what this will look like. Go to your professional stylist to have this chemical. Okay. So Facebook, I see y'all popping. I need y'all sharing this and doing watch parties. Keya and I are telling you how we are taking over the industry and changing. And Keya has texture versus race. I have online on set education. On June 3rd, I'm offering a new class called Preparing for On-Set. So many of you want to know how I got to where I am and how I work on set with celebrities and editorials and all that good stuff. So I have that class. The link is in the description. And the first person to register, I'm giving this to you. I'll send it right to your house. I got a T3
Wow.
Twirl 360 for you for the first person to register. Because I just decided to do all of this like in the
Wow.
last hour, so y'all need to let me know I'm not crazy. Hey Sandra, let's keep these.
Nice. Hey,
Let's
Danielle.
yes, let's
We
keep
got
these
another
hearts
one of
going.
our texture versus race educators and demonstrators on, Miss Danielle Green, aka Radically Curly. She's going to be showing us a lot of the sets that she does, how to manage, how to do wash and goes or twist outs or, shingling, whatever it is that we need. Danielle is the truth. You understand? She is a curly hair specialist. She's actually from Las Vegas and she's going to be gracing us with that, with the opportunity to pick her brain and get some things going. So I'm super excited about that. And I don't know if I mentioned that IBS is actually the launch of the Texture versus Race tour. So whoop 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 for that. That is our launching pad. That is
Yes.
amazing. That's how I know people want this information. That
Yes.
tour was definitely something that people were like, we need something now. Like they didn't want to wait till 2020 to start doing more. And I think we need to keep up the momentum and the interaction and really talking to people everywhere we go. Monet, you and I sat in the middle of a hair show and talked.
Yes, we did.
Just standing there while people were zooming by,
Hmm.
vibing. And I just understanding that there's a huge need for what we're doing. So we're going city to city and we're doing what is like a soft texture versus race or a talking tour. So it will look kind of like what we're doing at IBS, except that there won't be as extensive of hands-on, but it'll be very interactive. There'll be a demo. There'll be a great meet and greet. There's going to be a discussion. There will be and some theory going on. So, and we'll have a guest artist in each city, someone that comes that that's definitely there for the message, that's there to deliver and give it from each person. Everybody there is like the thought thinkers, the thought leaders from that area. That's what we're trying to pull together. The people that are saying, hey, I'm interested. What can I do in my city? How do I continue the texture versus race movement? How do I continue to educate and pollinate the people that need this? How do I pass this along? So I'm excited about the tour, and I'm definitely excited about IBS.
So let me
Yes,
back
yes,
this
yes,
up.
yes.
You said that you're going to go to the IBS International Beauty Show
I do.
held in Las Vegas on,
Yes.
was that June 17th? We're going to be there?
June 17th, we will be doing our hands-on. Yes, ma'am. Our interactive hands-on.
Okay, so let's back this up because I like to drop names.
Come on, do
So
it.
when Keya and I stopped and had a conversation, it was at IBS in New York. As you guys know, that is one of the biggest shows in the country. I was there working with Curls, which I later found out that was basically the only black brand there. And I found this out because I had so many complaints. It's not about black brands and white brands. What I'm saying is the general consumer there at the show felt their needs were not being met. The general consumer who worked with textured hair felt their needs were not being met. The general hairstylist who wanted to learn about working with textured hair felt they did not have anywhere to go and to learn. And Keya has the plan. She's been working on this. And by the time I go home and put down my bags, Keya has a whole big show at IBS Las Vegas. So y'all can't say that people are not trying to make the change. And I'm really going to put this on you guys and let you know that it is very time consuming and costly to make these educational events. If you guys want this stuff, you have to sign up for these events. You have to share them. If only you knew how expensive, like generally to throw a class, a bare bones, I don't really know, hopefully somebody show up class, it's like $10,000. You can nickel, you can nickel
Say
and
that
dime it.
again.
You can nickel and dime it all you want. So I want you to think about that. Your BS basic classes generally cost that person at least $10,000 to be put on. Then if you live in a big city like I do in New York, we expect really nice things. Those classes are expensive. So Keya's starting in Las Vegas, and she's kind enough to bring me along with her. But I do online classes because a lot of people don't want to pay the course. So I have a new class on June 3rd coming up called Preparing for Set. It must be hot like fire. Y'all hear those
I'm about to say,
alarms in the
who got
background?
killed out there? Sis, you.
Baby, let me tell you, I live in New York City.
Oh,
This is a
you
party.
registered.
Yes,
Awesome. I hope
Keya.
you registered for our class, Zakia.
Okay, yeah. So please tell them how they can. First off, I want you to give them just a sprinkle of what they might learn at
Yes.
IBS Las Vegas, and
All
then
right.
most importantly, how can they register for the class?
Okay, so IBS Las Vegas, like you said, is a trade show. It is a huge trade show and they have a lot of classes, but the one that you want to register for is the Texture versus Race hands-on class on Monday at 10 a.m. So here's what it's going to look like, the run of the day. You're going to have myself, Monet, Danielle Green of Radically Curly. You're going to have Alix Maya from the Unicorn Tribe. You're going to have
Y'all on
Noel
Instagram, come on
Weatherwax.
over to Facebook at Monae Artistry.
I know, right? You're going to have, like I said, Noel Weatherwax, So that's me, you, Elise, and Tangela Curry. She's going to be demonstrating, and also Team Color Culture. So when you get there, we're going to have a panel. The panel is going to last for about 45 minutes to an hour. We're just going to kind of really dive into what texture versus race is about and answer your questions. Like really give you an opportunity to ask the hard questions to the people on the panel that have the information that you want. I.e. Monae, how do I get on set? How do I learn to do more textured hair? Who are the resources? Does Danielle do classes? Can I go with texture versus race have classes? Like, how do I learn? We want to just answer all the questions about texture versus race that you may have. Then we're going to do soft theory, where each educator is going to give you a summation of what they will be teaching you in that class. Now, here's the beautiful part about the IBS texture versus race hands-on. In most hands-on classes, whenever they have a large group, you can only do or facilitate maybe one technique or one thing where everybody has to do the same thing and everybody has to be able to go along at the same pace learning that one technique so that we're all on one accord, right? Right. However, texture versus race is doing individual models for every educator and demonstrator that's there. They will have a texture model, a live model, and you will, like speed dating or speed styling, you will get to work with every single one of those educators on that model, and interactively you will hands-on be able to execute that particular technique, whether it's blow drying 4C hair, whether it's doing a silk press and understanding what that's about, whether it's doing a twist out, whether it's doing Zulu knots, whether it's doing coiling with the rods, whether it's shingling with Danielle, or finger coiling, or what updos with Monae, whatever it is that we're executing. Color, we're doing color on textured hair. You get to actually put your hands on that, and you get to learn as many models as we have. You will get to execute each one of those models to the point that you are at least familiar with how to execute at least 5 to 6 different techniques instead of one. You will get to experience 5 or 6 different textures that you do not normally have the opportunity to do. And the reason why we did that, Monae, and I explained to you, is that when you try to buy a textured mannequin, technically that mannequin's hair does not mimic real hair. And it's hard because they have to try to make that hair texture, and it's not usually true to what's growing out of the head. And we want to give y'all more experience right then. So can you imagine having 5 or 6 models that you're able to go, I touched 4C, I touched wavy, I touched curly, I touched kinky coily, I did this, I did a blowout, I did the flat iron, I did the twist out. I felt like when you walk away, you're going to be empowered to now feel confident in saying, yes, this is something I want to pursue. Let me get more education. But more importantly, when someone shows up at your salon that does not look like you, you don't take an automatic break and start running away and saying, well,
y'all better
do it. You'll now have the confidence to now take on that client because you've now had the experience of touching all of these different textures that you normally wouldn't. So I'm excited about that. I think that's super empowering. I think that it's super, I don't know, I think it was just a great idea. I really do. I would have loved
to have stuff like this when we need it. Keya, you're actually starting to go in and out a little bit. So I'm going to re-say what you were saying. So I would have loved to have classes like this when I first started. We just did not have the option. Y'all better stop running away from these textures that you're scared of. Y'all in the salon, somebody come in with a texture you haven't touched, you running, you on break, or runway shows and stuff. The model comes in with hair you're not used to, and all of a sudden you'd rather double up on a different model than slay that model. So Keya, let me ask you, if they want to come to the texture versus race class at IBS Las Vegas on June 17th in a couple of weeks, where do they need to go to register? Is there a fee associated? And y'all keep liking and sharing this post. We are dropping real gems. I get tired of hearing my people say, oh, nobody wants to talk. No one wants to give advice and tell me how to get to the next level. I don't have any senior artists to go to. You have 2 senior artists sitting here right here and offering more opportunities of how to learn. Trust me, people are willing to give you the information that you seek. It may not be free, but we're willing to give you the information you seek.
So IBS.com, IBSLasVegas.com is the website to go to, and you can go and find it. Now, I don't believe you can register for the class without being a part of the show itself. So if you're
Yes.
coming to IBS or you want to come and experience Texture versus Race along with it, that would be ideal. Get you a ticket, even if it's one day. You have to get the ticket and register for the event itself, so you can come visit us on the floor, because we'll also have a booth. That's nice too. That's going to be great. So you'll be able to come and peruse the booth and see everything, but you'll get to now register. I believe the class is $199, but you don't have to bring anything. Everything will be supplied for you. So that's a huge thing. You don't have to worry about bags and mannequins and tripods. We're going to have live models, which is, to me, better than any,
Mannequin,
half,
absolutely.
yeah, than any mannequin you could have. So definitely go on if you're coming. The information has receipts now. Say that
Yes,
thing,
it
girl. It
does.
does. Make sure you come and register to that class. We want to show. First of all, let's just be real quick,
Be real,
Monae.
Keya. I know where you're going. Be real. Tell them.
We have to show IBS and shows like that this is a viable course
Yes.
and that this is a viable class. We have to support the classes that are trying to support you. It
Yes.
is one thing to go to the shows and take classes from people that don't care nothing about you and don't care nothing about this industry other than getting your 2 cents right then. We care about where you're going and where this industry is going. This is a whole movement. This is not a notion. This is an entire movement that's going to
Yes, it
move
is.
you from one place to another in your career. So when I say show support, you're going to
Show
have to put some
support.
money where your
Come on over
mouth
to
is a little
Facebook.
bit, and you're going to have to pay. But look what we're doing. We're showing that this course is valid, that it's
Yeah.
needed because it's new. So they're looking at me like, we shall see.
Yeah.
Even though they want it and they want it to be successful, they don't know what it is. They don't know what it's about. They don't know how to help me. They're just like, you all have to, show me what you got. And so we're kind of auditioning for this huge sector of hair shows. So we need you guys to support. We need you to come on out and say, I'm
Yes.
supporting Texture versus Race. One, because you're going to get great education. But two, because we need your help so we can continue to help you and bring the information to you in various places and get the platforms
Yeah.
that we need to be more successful.
Absolutely. I think now is a good time to bring up what was trending your last live when I was talking to you on that repost Black stylist. You know,
Yes.
people don't want to hear this, but this business is all about not only dollars and cents, but who you know. Now would be a good time to like this and share this with friends. So, Keya, you and a few others were really pushing the repost Black stylist because it should be posted. But what people don't realize is the major importance of networking. So you go to these shows to meet these reps and they will repost you more if your work is good. Just because they have an idea of who you are. You are more likely to do something for your friend than you are for a stranger. That's simply how the world goes. Then we're bigger in numbers. The only way we can get shows like this in education to work is if you guys show up. You know, I have a really big hands-on class coming in the fall with over $1,200 worth of sponsorship. If you guys do not show up, we won't be able to do that in the future. It's almost like paying people to take classes who say that they need the classes. We always need more people to show up for this education, especially if you want to have it. This is not begging you to come. This is telling you that when y'all are sliding y'all DMs saying, oh, how do I get to where you are? When you're sliding and when you're emailing saying, oh, can I assist you? All of these things that you are doing, these are your answers. We're giving you the education.
Well, I mean, and here's the thing, Monet. Am I going in and out because I feel like it's a little
No, you're
janky?
perfect.
Okay. Um, I truly feel that this is the biggest thing that we could do at this point. And when we
Yeah.
were talking about, and the young lady named Kiara Taylor, she posted that originally that said black colorists, are repost worthy as well. The reason
Yes.
why it hits so hard is because what you said is that we don't see a whole lot of reposting of textured hair. And I know why. It's because we have not identified textured hair as a standard of beauty yet. They're
Yes.
still trying to streamline and identify exactly what that looks like. And if it's not the beautiful mixed girl or, you know, having the curly, coily, the pretty curly, open curl hair,
Yeah.
they're still controlling the narrative around it. Because I don't care how much good work we do, it doesn't really get reposted because it doesn't get a lot of interaction. It doesn't get a lot of likes. Even when I post in groups that have 180,000 stylists,
Yeah.
I can get 5 or 10 likes on a picture, and I'm like,
Or
do you know
ignored.
how much work? Do you know how much work I had to do to get this? And you know, I could do something, and I have done this where I have posted the same exact picture,
Yeah.
close, with the girl with the hair like this and the waves and all of that, and even still, it won't get the same amount of interaction.
Yeah.
So because that is the case, we do not get a lot of movement or energy around textured hair, even
Yeah.
though it's the hardest to do. And when we turn out those fantastic colors, girl, that's like magic. Like
Yes.
we have performed magic. But because the standard of beauty is still saying that balayage with blonde hair and the waves and the girl in the back with her hands up, that is what we want to see. That is what we're used to seeing. That's what we're
Yeah.
being fed. So that's what we're being taught is what is the stuff. So for me,
Yeah.
I feel like when she posted that, I reposted it just to say, hey, I'm here for this movement, and she's absolutely right.
She's absolutely
And
right. Absolutely. We are
beauty,
repost worthy.
but here's the funny part about how that all unfolded, and I don't know if we had a chance to really talk about that, but
Hold on, hold on.
what
Spill the tea, girl. Spill the
I
tea.
got to give you the tea on the whole thing. So now she posted it, Kiara Taylor. A whole lot of people reposted it. Like it almost went kind of viral on, like, if you will, like Black Twitter, like Black Instagram kind of went in on it. But it took one white girl, one Caucasian woman to post it, went off about it, allied for it, tagged Beauty Launchpad and every single platform, Beauty Launchpad, American Salon, Modern Salon, Hairbrain, Behind the Chair. But she
Yeah.
posted them all. And do you know that Beauty Launchpad actually responded to her? And they said that they were really in for it and they had done a poor job at that point. And they recognized that when they looked at their own page, that it was very one-sided. And they were
Yeah.
the only platform that responded to that.
Well,
And
hold on. I got
even
one
more
response,
so.
but I'll let you know. I'll let you
Okay.
after you
So
finish.
even after that, I said something to them and they really want to work with us. Like they really want, and I think they've been doing a good job. You know, I think there's but so much they could do. But let me say this, what they can do is be more mindful. They didn't know what to do. Let me say that. There's so
Yes.
much they can
They
do.
can
They didn't
try.
know
Yeah.
what to do.
Yeah.
But on their own devices, they do not know what to do.
Yeah.
Because
We have to explain
one,
to them what to do.
yeah, but and here's where I'm going to come back. Now that I've explained to them what they should do, I want to explain to us texture stylists, no matter what
What to
color
do.
you are, your texture stylist, what to do, which is do more work, tag them, and put it out there. Like
Yes.
we've got to start not feeling like we're not going to get it anyway, so we shouldn't put it out there. No, put it out there and continuously put it out there so that it's not hard for them to find at all. Like we want to keep putting it in their face so that if they turn their backs, now we just have a choice to make. Do
Yeah.
you still support that platform? Do you still spend money, time, energy
Absolutely.
with that platform? Because that's all I'm saying. If I give you the opportunity and you still don't, I'm okay with saying no problem. I'll just take my money, time, and energy elsewhere. So now that's where we are. But tell me, girl, who responded to you?
So American Salon responded to me. To my surprise, they responded to
What?
me. And what I did, I don't remember the exact conversation, but as soon as they responded to me, I didn't even give them time to dilly dally. It was basically just a we heard you. I was like, okay, because I tag you all the time, and they were able to go through their tags to see it. And the girl sounded, amenable through the phone. And I immediately pitched them on my classes, Texture on Set, where I'm teaching how to make textured hair look beautiful in photographs. So I always challenge stylists because I live by this motto. All we can change is ourselves, not anybody else. So there's not to say they don't have a part in it. I 100% believe these mainstream magazines have a part in it. But what a lot of us are not doing, we're not making beautiful photo worthy work. We're not tagging them in it. And sometimes making something photo worthy is is just different than what you imagine. Sometimes
Yes.
making something photo worthy is you can't do it on your client because she paid that good money and it better last 2 weeks. You get what I mean? But it would be photo worthy if you brushed it out, if you made it bigger, if it was less constricted and things of that nature.
Nice.
So that's not always a race thing. And I teach that on texture on set. Trust me, some of the things that I have learned through my styling years, I would never in a million years do that to somebody. Like, take this hair that came this big, this ponytail came this big, and I brushed it, add highlights, sewn in other pieces to make it huge. That makes it more photo, just something so different to push yourself. We are such a creative people. We push ourselves in everything all the time because we've got to be 4 times as good. So I also teach you how to create your own photo shoots because you don't want to piss where you eat now. Don't take Susan, Susan's money after she done paid you that good money, and because you want a good photo, you brush all of her hair. Oh, that you on the thing? I think you got to put it back in because I'm echoing.
Oh, you want?
Okay. I know you wanted to take it off.
Only
Yeah.
because
So
I need it. But go ahead.
don't waste Sharon's money now. She been coming to you and brush out her style so it only look good for a day or two when she's expecting 2 weeks. But a lot of times I'm able to teach people the truth that they just don't know. There's a difference in making a style that's going to last 2 weeks and a style that you need to last for 26 minutes. I'm very specific about that because if you're doing a photo shoot with 8 looks that day and you done made this hair perfect for 2 weeks, how you going to change it to the next 4 looks? Or are you going to do really, really elementary changes that make you look really, really elementary and don't show your beautiful creativity and your ability to be amenable and mutable and make that hair move and fly, which is why I'm going to keep coming back to my class now, preparing for set. First person to register gets this lovely T3 curling iron. Just head over to bit.ly/prep for set. Yes, ma'am.
Let me say this. I know that that's a hard pill to swallow for us to hear, and I say us as in the people that are, highly upset about the fact that we don't get reposted.
Yes.
Us and us, and I want to speak directly to that because I think what you said made a lot of sense. But the reason why I think when we hear things like we're not putting out good work, we take that as a slap in the face because we think that you feel that way because it's a black girl or it's curly hair or it's this and that. And there is a part of it that has to do with what we consider to be work. But again, we have to also, there's a double-edged sword there because what I might consider to be great might not be the editorial that they really do kind of want. They want it to look a little abstract and avant-garde, and that might not be what my clients or the people that I'm trying to impress consider to be good work. Like, they might just want to know they can get to an ashy blonde. The heck with it being big and looking all, monstrosity and have this monstrosity look and, all this architect. And because I find now, you can help me on this, but a lot of the black stuff that gets posted look very architectural. They have to be structured with the this and the that, and they don't really want the average black girl stuff. So then my question to you is, how do we manage or reconcile the fact for the people who do feel like their noses are a little out of whack, that, okay, well, I thought that this cute bob compared to the bob that Becky had, Keisha's bob is just as cute. Why does Keisha have to be big and flowy and pushed all out and teased and to the silk? Why can't my bob be enough?
Now, I'm going to answer that, and I'm very aware that what I said was a little controversial. But I'm going to repeat,
fine.
I'm going to repeat. The reason why I say that is because we can only change us. We can't change them. Another way that falls underneath that is if that's not your clientele, they don't want the big photo stories and this, that, and the other, then market to them, and that's not going to be American Salon. That's not going to be, behind the chair and stuff like that. So that's kind of a messed up thing. So when you're seeing like the architectural things like that being reposted, it's because it's undeniably cool. You get what I'm saying? But I think you gave a great example with the bob. I see a lot of the bobs, and look, y'all don't beat me up on here, but I feel a beat up waiting to come. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of the
That's gonna be
difference.
your eyes black, not mine. I'm just messing.
Okay.
Come on, girl. Be
So
real. Let's go.
say for an example, I see an amazing bob, right? The line is right. I mean, that thing is laid. A lot of times we do little things that make it too urban like because it's a weave. This is sleeked all the way back and then the bob comes out. It doesn't look realistic. It looks like, oh, they threw hair on it. Okay? These are little things that I can teach you for how to tweak it. Maybe you need to learn how to put the hair in a different way. Direct it so it looks like it's coming out of her scalp. You have the talent, you have the ability, you have the know-how. What you to create a style. What you don't know is what these publications are looking for. Be very clear. If your clients like it, you win it. You're winning right there. You can pay your bills and you're happy with what you're doing, you're winning. It may not, those particular magazines may not be the ones you want. Let me tell you something. I get published in like high parent sophisticates, black hair all the time, and I'm very excited for it. They will pick up those looks. You get what I'm saying? It's just different from behind the chair, American Salon, and American Salon only talks about me once. I'm not acting like I'm completely in the know with that. Okay, let me say, I am blessed enough. I get featured in other stuff, in Style, Essence, stuff like that. So the field is a little bit different. But I want you guys to look at the difference instead of saying it's just racism, which racism is a part of it. Y'all hear me saying that? Because I'm not caping for these people. Look at it and say side to side, what's the difference?
What's the difference?
Sometimes some of my hairstyles that I'll do look too natural, as in you can't see that I've really done a lot of work, but it might have taken 3 or 4 hours, and that's how that celebrity wanted to look. So I know Hype Hair's not picking that up. Essence ain't picking that up. Behind the chair, they're just not picking it up because it's not. They're looking and they're like, oh, it looks nice. There's a difference, and oh, it looks nice, and damn, look at that. We always got to be 4 times better. You're lying to yourself to say 2 times. We got to be 4 times better. Okay.
You're right. I just wanted to clear that up.
Train
I
that
just think
eye.
that we do need to do a lot more with our photos, but I do think along with that what texture versus race is going to do is bring an awareness and
Yeah.
give sort of a more, how do I want to put it? Like, it's one thing to bake a cake, but it's
It's
one
one
thing to
thing to bake a
understand
cake.
from a baker's perspective what all it took to make that cake. Like,
Absolutely.
and I think if I'm just scrolling through something, I go, huh, that's nice, that's cute, because I have no real understanding of what it
Exactly.
took to get there. I think the more we understand, the more that we change the narrative around it, I think not a grace, but kind of like a grace we can create for this hair where it doesn't look so basic. Because
Yeah.
honestly, side by side, I've looked at some photos and I went, now this
Now this is the
could have
same.
been picked up.
Absolutely.
This is nice.
Absolutely.
This girl, this hair, I look at some of that and be like, now this won't post worthy, but yet she's got 3,000 likes on this, and
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
and then I look at this other one and I go, they almost look identical. What was the difference? But like I said, I think that there's an accumulation that all of us have things to do. Like, all of us have to put together to start, like I said, redirecting, changing the narrative, and getting to a point where we don't have to work so hard to prove anything, but just be able to play fairly. Will that ever happen? I don't know. I may not ever see that in my lifetime, but I'm going to continue to fight for that and continue to say, you guys got to start looking at it with a different eye. Stop making this measure stick way up here for me,
Absolutely.
but you can give it to so and so down here. Like, I think it's about having that conversation again with even those people, and say, hey, you do know you're trying to hold us to a higher standard. You want me to jump through
Yes,
too many more hoops for you to think that my work is good.
it
So I
is.
think that there's a double-edged sword. We just got more work to do on
We
both
do.
sides.
And I think that this is a really good conversation that we're having. Because it does freaking suck. The European standard of beauty is more accepted. But once again, is that something we can really change right now? I don't know. So sometimes in those situations, I'll take 2 pictures. The black girl's hair is probably better. How about that? Let's go with it's probably better. But because it's on a black girl, it's not getting the love. But then what I've noticed with theirs, they have better photos, better filters, better lighting, an assistant whose job is only to take photos. We're coming the race so far behind. We're trying to do everything all in once, and sometimes it just is not on the same scale. So what I'm saying is the standard is, it's not fair, it's unfair, and it's wrong, but I can help you learn some things to make it better. Okay?
Well, I'm gonna take your class. I want to take the class myself because I want to know. I want to be able to see that because I'm still looking at some stuff. I go, ooh, I know that's not.
Yeah.
I know there's some room, but there's some other stuff that I go, this was
This was
freaking
just, and you're going to
amazing.
see that a lot.
And
Be very
I
clear.
know, I know,
Be
I know.
clear. Yes.
But I'm not gonna lay down on that. I'm gonna keep putting that in their face and keep saying, you see
As you
that?
should. But
And you
you
see
know,
that? That was good.
I love the example you just gave about cake, because you know what I thought when you gave that example about cake? What I thought was, okay, you're right. It probably did take that cake, let's say 30 hours to make it, idea, this, that, and the other. When I cut into a piece of cake, first off, I'm not a fan of frosting. I could really care less. If it don't taste good, I'm done. And you're right. That is completely thrown to the side how much hard work was put in. And I think that that was a wonderful example of the two side by side. They don't really value the topping, the hair. And if they see one thing that's undesirable, we don't get the benefit.
Nope.
Do I
And
agree with
that's the
that?
thing.
No, I do
And
not agree with that. But what is more likely to be changeable, you and your work, or them and the entire grand scheme of things? So I'm happy we are making them budge. Many artists have been trying for
yeah.
30 years to make them budge. We are making them budge.
Well, we got the mic right now. We've
Yeah.
got we've got a couple megaphones out there working for us, and I think that one of the things that Noelle said was my whispers will always be louder than your screams. So you know what? I use her as much as possible
Yeah.
to get the message thwarted and pushed forward because I need more allyship like her and my good friend Brenda and people at the ABCH and whatever ally and resource, like someone said, that I can accumulate for me to say, can you say this for me? It
Yeah.
isn't that I can't say it, but sometimes what when they say it, when someone else says it, it becomes that much more magnified and that much more amplified. And we need that. And it's going to take more of us to keep saying it. So I'm not giving up my fight. Like I said, I realize that the standard of beauty is there, but it's because that's what's being shown. It's a perpetuation of the same thing. But until we start putting our foot down and saying, oh, but no, this is, and start to create those platforms as well. Not because we're begging anybody, but it's about
Wow.
just being clear. Because, see, for me now, it's not about begging them to change how they feel. It's saying either you can or I'm out. Because I don't have to support all these platforms. I don't have to spend no
Yeah.
money with you. I don't have to. I can unfollow you and get a whole group of people. We can unfollow. And you may not notice my one unfollow, but you get like, a good 10, 15, 20,000 people to stop following and not coming to your shows and not buying tickets and not buying your online and not working with the people that sponsor you. And you see what I'm saying? Those brands,
Yeah.
when you leverage the right thing, it's not about punishing them. It's just about knowing where you want to actually apply those same things. And it should be in a platform that can celebrate you at the level that you are as well. Because some of us are punching out some really great stuff.
Give us
And
some
we
likes,
just,
guys.
we're punching out some really great stuff.
Absolutely.
And we're being held to a standard because it's not the standard of beauty.
It's
Well,
not
we
the
got to
same
change what
standard.
that is.
It's not.
We
It
just
is
have to
not the
change
same
it. And I
standard.
think that, but now is the time, Monae. I do believe that now is the time. I would accept,
Oh, I agree.
a long time, but you know what? Right now, they're listening because we are the market, we are the majority, and we're not all black. So right now, to be honest, we have more to leverage now than we ever did. We just simply don't know it yet. And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So
Let's leverage that.
you have two states. You have New York City and California just passed anti-blackness discrimination laws based on the hair. In 2019, that had to be passed. That is so outrageous. And what people don't understand is that 70% of the world has textured hair. And we're getting caught up in race, whereas you got white women with textured hair, but they will straighten the hell out of it and have no idea we're speaking to them when we're like, your hair is textured. Those curls are curls. We worked in a salon for years. People run away from curls. It's very few. It's not enough salons out there that you can go in and ask for a curly haircut and leave with a curly haircut. So, Sally Boo, you're a part of this conversation. Okay, this is
You know
not
what?
something that
Here's the
is
thing. I've
only
never
black and only white.
It isn't. And the thing is that one of the things that I learned when I started working at this multicultural salon was how many people
Yeah.
had textured hair. I never knew. Just like
Mm-hmm.
they don't know nothing, they didn't know anything about me. I didn't know anything about them. And I was like, well, I hadn't seen a naturally straight woman all day. Like
Yeah.
everybody was textured to some degree. And when what I also realized is when I started talking about this and it became painfully obvious that we were the majority, it felt like I was saying to someone, I said, I ain't never seen so many curly hair people in my life. It's
Yeah.
like everybody all of a sudden was coming out of the
The
curling iron
woodworks.
closet.
Yeah.
Like everybody is like, yep, I'm just wearing mine. And I
Mm-hmm.
realized that everybody's story is the same. No matter what color you are, no matter what ethnicity you are, if you were shamed, if you were curl shamed,
Mm-hmm.
you have the same exact impression upon your life. It has affected you the same exact way, and it's not about race at all. Now, mind
Yeah.
you,
And they
black
do get a
people have
relaxer. Yeah.
suffered the most, the
Yes.
most. However, I find that there are a lot of similar stories with, white women with curly hair who's been forced to flat iron that hair forever so that she
Yes.
still gets the standard of beauty. But now there's this curly hair revolution where everybody's kind of like, I'm just a wash and go and I'm just going to let it go like
Yeah.
this. And I'm not flat iron, I'm not blow drying. And I'm like, we are really like a curly world, like the
Yeah.
globally we are curly. And so that just gave me a huge aha when I realized that everybody was not straight. I
Yeah.
didn't know that
And
for a long time.
let me bend your ear to this. So we're thinking they because it's beneficial to think it is a black and white thing. If I go on set, many times I might get a model. She'll have a little wave in her hair, but she'll say it straight, and I know she's saying it straight because of the people who hired her. They wouldn't have hired her with curly hair, and I get to hear funny things like, "Oh, Monet, this looks great, but right here there's a little kink. Can you get that out just a little?" Well, how the hell you think she got a kink? What is a kink? An example of a goddamn curl, right? So, but it's the same thing as when black girls sit down and say, "Can you give me some baby hair?" Everybody is asking, "Can you straighten my hair to fit the standard of beauty?"
And that is the most disappointing
Yeah.
and heartbreaking thing, that we have been taught that curl is somehow a signal or a scar,
Mm-hmm.
like a S on your chest, or something
Yeah.
that you wear this jacket that says you're not good, or it's not
Mm-hmm.
good, or that there's better than you. Or and it's sad to think that everybody goes through that, black, white, or otherwise. Nobody wants that evidence to be
Yeah.
to be
It's
seen.
not
Everybody wants
attractive.
to hide it. But I tell you what, we're
Love
getting
you
away
too.
from that. We're getting away
Mm-hmm.
from that, and I love it. And I think that we're all it's changing. I can feel it. It's changing, and I'm here for it. It's
And
changing.
not only is it changing, we are all attacking it from different directions. We don't all have to feel the same exact way about everything, but what's most important is we do not have to conform to one standard of beauty. Beauty comes in many shapes, sizes, and hair textures. I love that Keya is coming from the salon. I'm coming from the set. There is no one better than the other, and every hairstylist I know goes back and forth between the two anyway. But it's just about learning those points. So we want to make sure to answer any questions you have before we disconnect. Let me
Yes.
scroll up and see if there were any questions. But I
Let's
see
see.
y'all vibing with
Hey,
us.
Nicola. Yes, blondes come from a bottle.
Yeah, and people talk about that darn movie Good Hair.
Can I be honest? I didn't even watch it. I was so deterred by the comments about it, the commentary. I never even watched it.
I understood Chris Rock's point, but I'm just gonna skip over that, and I might be saying my age here. Do you guys remember when Oprah did her version of Good Hair? What she did was progressive journalism, where she covered it from both sides, and you got to see the white women in there bleaching their hair every 2 weeks. They didn't want anybody to know they weren't blonde. The people getting the Japanese straighteners, the Asian women getting a perm so that their hair could have some type of bend. All of us are chasing something that we were not born with. Hey, Andrea.
That's because the grass is always greener.
Yeah, so why don't
But
you guys take this time to ask some questions. Once again, I am doing my live webinar on June 3rd, teaching you how to prepare for a photo shoot. The first person to register gets this T3 twirl iron. I will send it directly to you because we got to get this thing moving. June 3rd, some of that education you'll want about how do you market yourself to go on set, how do you get people's attention, what should your email say, how do you prepare for a shoot, all the things you guys are jumping in my DMs asking me. And Keya has an amazing class coming up on June 17th at IBS. Tell them that IBS and that link.
So IBS is ibslasvegas.com. You can register for the Texture versus Race class where you will be doing a highly interactive hands-on class with at least 5 or 6 models with different techniques and different things that you can learn from all the wonderful educators that we have joining us. But you know, Texture versus Race also has a group on Facebook. I would implore you to join that. I would also tell you to go online and look up the tour and find a city near you, because we are going, I think right now we have like 10, we have 8 on the flyer, we have like 10 cities that we are launching that we will be from here to Canada. So we have a whole lot. And look, we just want to get to know you. We just want to connect with you and talk to you about the 2020 summit that's coming down the pipeline, to sign up for that summit that's coming up. So, you know, you guys definitely connect with us. Go online, colorculture.com. If someone can drop that down there, colorculture.com, and look for the cities. The tour has already been launched on my page, and you can see the cities that might be close to you. And look, it would be well worth it. Come meet and greet. Let's talk. Let's put our heads together. See what we can do in your area to keep the Texture versus Race movement going, and definitely connect with me. Go on and sign up for my emails, because we're also launching the Texture versus Race online classes as well, the online courses, because we really want to give you something, because everybody can't travel. Everybody may not have access to the city. So we do want to do an online course as well. We did one last year leading up to Summit. So we're going to launch another one. I just want to get the tour and, you know, going, and then we're going to put those dates in so that we know exactly when everybody's free and we can do our online classes, because we want them to be live. We want you to be able to see, and there also won't be just me. It'll be very interactive, and it won't just be me. It'll be people that have connected with Texture versus Race already, like Monae, like Danielle Green, like Lisa. I love Lisa Carrero. I love her. I love Christy Ramos of Sunflowers and Scissors. All of these people are Texture versus Race. I don't want to say certified, but I'll say partners, because they have given and they have connected and they have said yes to this movement. And we're now building a body of influence for us to move this movement forward, versus everybody just differently. And we're trying to bring all of our resources together. So you guys definitely sign up for our emails. Keep a lookout for the online course. Sign up and find your city and come to the tour. And if you can meet me at Premiere, we're doing a class. It's not hands-on, but we do have classes at Premiere the first week in June. We also have the ABCH. They have their summit. If you're not coming and you think you can get there in LA, I am the keynote speaker of that event as well. So that's going to be off the hook. There's about 700 and something people registered for the American Board Certified Hair Colorist, the Energizing Summit. And they picked me because of the Texture versus Race movement has gotten so big. They picked me to be the keynote speaker, and I'm super proud to do that. And then we have that IBS launching that tour, and that is going to be amazing. So you guys definitely sign up, ibslasvegas.com. Sign up, you guys. Support the movement. Support the people that support you. Everybody that I named, go follow them on Instagram. Like, you guys, drop your handles so people can see you and go follow you and know that you're associated with Texture versus Race and that you are the core of this thing. And we are moving. We want to connect with you. If you have something to offer, let us know. We're building a body of influence. It can't be one somebody. It can't just be me. I can't do it on my own.
We're all working together.
Just like you have not been able to do it on your own. We have to work together. And I'm super excited about that. And I really appreciate you having me, Monae. This has been amazing.
Problem. I'm happy to have you. So once again, go to bit.ly/prep4set. Webinar is June 3rd. I'm teaching you how to get your booty on set. Y'all can stop jumping in my darn emails asking, because I am teaching you how to get there. I don't mind sometimes, but I'm like, I do offer education now. So
wear you out.
yes, it does take a village. We are going to bid you guys adieu. We gave you a long time to ask questions, so I'm stalling a little bit to see if we got any questions. Maybe we were just giving them so much info they couldn't even get the
I
questions out.
know.
We were just being, y'all give us some likes and some hearts before we sign off, because we want Facebook to share this. Please share this with your friends. Do a watch party. Please know that education is out there, and it is not Black-centered education. It is
No, it's
education
not.
you need for your career with people who look like you teaching it. Okay? So,
Okay, that part. Me and you will never part.
okay, I'm signing off. Bye,
Have a
guys.
good one. Bye,